So, you're thinking about getting your OSCP. Good for you. It is one of the most respected and, yeah, one of the most challenging certifications in all of cybersecurity. But let's be brutally honest for a second. It is a massive investment. We're talking time, energy, and a whole lot of cash. In this explainer, we're going to cut through all the noise and give you a real, actionable roadmap, one that was built from the hard lessons of failing first and then figuring out how to win.
Let's just start with that number. We're talking about $1,749. That's just for the 90-day lab bundle and one single shot at the exam. That's your starting line. The stakes are incredibly high right out of the gate.
And believe me, those stakes are very real. This quote right here gets to the absolute heart of the matter. Failing the OSCP isn't some rare thing. It's a common reality for so many people. And this whole roadmap, everything we're about to talk about, is built on that experience, that painful, expensive failure that came from having completely the wrong approach.
Okay, let's dive into this. We're calling this the $1,749 wall for a reason. It's not just a fee for a course. It's a huge financial and personal barrier you have to get over. This isn't just another test you study for. For a lot of us, it's a full-on campaign you have to budget for like a major life event. And what does that big investment get you? A front row seat to one of the most grueling exams on the planet. We're talking nearly 24 straight hours of pure, hands-on keyboard hacking, all under intense pressure. And then you have another 24 hours to rate a professional, detailed report on everything you did. The margin for error is tiny. It's a test of skill, sure, but it's also a brutal test of stamina and process.
So this brings us to the real head-scratcher. If it's not about just being a genius, why do so many smart, talented people fail on their first try? Well, the answer is actually simpler and way more fixable than you probably think.
And this right here, this is the core issue. It's what we call the process problem. It has almost nothing to do with how smart you are. It's that the way most people study, just randomly jumping from machine to machine, it doesn't build the systematic, methodical mindset that you absolutely need to survive on exam day.
What I love about this slide is how clearly it shows the two paths you can take. Over on the left, you've got what most people do, this random, chaotic grind. It feels productive, you're busy, but it doesn't build a solid foundation. And then on the right, you have what actually works, an intentional, sequenced plan where every single step builds on the one before it.
And these right here, these are the exact mistakes that come from that chaotic approach. People chase those flashy capture the flag tricks that just don't work in the exam. They don't have a repeatable workflow, so they just freeze when they hit a wall. They underestimate enumeration. That's the deep dive discovery phase, which is honestly the single most important skill. And maybe the biggest one, they never practice for the sheer mental endurance of a 10+ hour hacking session. Oh, and treating note-taking like some chore you do at the end? No. That's literally how you prove your work to get points. All right, so we've diagnosed the problem. Enough doom and gloom. Let's talk about the solution. This is a clear, 4-stage pipeline that's designed to build your skills step by step, turning that chaotic grind into a campaign you can actually win.
And here it is, the whole roadmap. Think of it like going to the gym. You don't walk in on day one and try to bench press 400 pounds, right? Of course not. You start with the basics. Stage 1, Kioptrix. These are classic vulnerable machines for building that core muscle memory. Stage 2, VulnHub. This huge library of boxes helps you develop situational awareness. You learn to recognize different patterns. Stage 3, Proving Grounds, made by the same folks as the OSCP. This is where you practice for exam realism. And finally, Stage 4, Hack the Box. It's known for its tricky, creative challenges, and that's where you build your mental stamina.
So the big idea here is simple. We are building a bridge. We're moving you from a safe, controlled environment to the chaos of an exam-like setting. But we're doing it one solid plank at a time. This structure, this progression, is what separates a pass from a fail.
Okay, let's get tactical. You've just dropped the money on that 90-day lab bundle. The clock is officially ticking. So how do you actually use that time to execute on our 4-stage roadmap? This is your battle plan.
Here's how it breaks down. For the first 21 days, it is all about fundamentals. You're building your core workflow and your note-taking habits. Then, days 22 to 45, you start to escalate. You're tackling more varied machines and, this is key, you start practicing basic reporting. Days 46 to 70, this is the heart of your prep. You are living in exam-like environments, bouncing between Proving Grounds and Hack the Box. And then that final stretch, days 71 to 90, this is for simulated exams, light review, and, just as important, rest. It's time to get your head right for the real deal.
Now let's connect this plan back to our budget. That initial $1,700, yeah, that's just the entry fee. This table shows the real money block. You have to factor in subscriptions for those external practice labs like Proving Grounds and Hack the Box. And you absolutely must budget for at least one potential retake. Seriously, just assume you'll need it. Plan for your total cost to be 20, maybe even 50% higher than that initial sticker price.
So, before you even think about hitting that buy button, you need to ask yourself these questions and be really honest. This isn't just about your tech skills. Do you truly have the time, like 8 to 10 focused hours every week? Do you have the financial cushion for a retake? And have you talked to your family and your boss to align expectations? If you're answering no to more than one or two of these, you might just be setting yourself up for failure before you even start.
Okay, let's boil all of this down into the most critical, hard-won lessons that took me from that initial fail to a final pass. You should probably print these out and stick them on your wall.
1. Random grinding is fake progress. You have to follow a sequence. 2. Enumerate like your life depends on it, because in the exam, it does. 3. Practice your reporting on every single box. 4. Your budget is a real thing. Plan for it. 5. Train your endurance like you're training for a marathon. 6. Make sure your virtual machine is clean and stable. Trust me, it'll save you at 3 a.m. And 7. This is the most important one. Your first failure isn't the end. It's just data. It's the feedback you need to build a better plan.
After all of this, the cost, the strategy, the brutal lessons, what is the single most important idea that you should walk away with?
It's this. The secret to passing the OSCP isn't some flash of genius or a sudden burst of motivation. It's consistency. It is the unglamorous, boring, repeatable schedule that you stick to week in and week out. That is what builds the skill and the resilience you need to pass this thing.
So, what's your first move? Don't just think about it. Open your calendar right now and block out 3 lab sessions for this week. That one simple action, that's the first real step on the roadmap that can take you from I failed to I passed.